Welcome to Let's Chat with Home Buyer Centre. Here are some snippets from the episode.
So when you move into your new home, exciting times, and you start paying down your mortgage.
Your brand new home, yeah.
I think the reason the cancellation rate is also so low is because if a client does come to either of us and say, it's not working, I don't think I can continue, we don't just turn around and say, okay, perfect, we're keeping your deposit. We actually try and find solutions.
Yeah. Like all great things, this should take time as well. Because at Home Buyers, we pretty much do things, once and we do it well.
I love that. Hello and welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to be talking all things finance, LMI, pre-approval, and the Bank of Mum and Dad, which is very fun. I'm Tash and I'm here with Jazz and John from Resolve Finance and Vasu, who is a new homes consultant with Home Buyers Centre. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. In the last episode, we started talking a little bit about construction and how finance fits into that. I've heard that during construction, your repayments are interest only. Is that true?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's into two parts. So firstly, you'll settle on your land and you will start paying your land off. And then when the builder goes to site and starts building your home, you'll start getting your progress payments. So during that time, you'll be having a mortgage repayments on land, and then as the builder invoices you or your progress payments come through, your mortgage gets drawn on and they'll pay the builder for their work, and you'll start increasing those payments as the various invoices come through.
So the progress payment is staged payments. There's a few different stages and it's interest only during that time.
That's correct. And interest only is that you're just paying interest only off your loan. The other option is principal and interest, where you're actually paying down the principal of your home. Most lenders will offer interest only because during this time, a lot of customers are still renting. So they've got that added cost. So you're renting and then you've got your first repayments, you're paying your land, and then that builds up as your progress payments come through. So it's definitely a great option to assist home buyers.
And when does it switch over to both the principal and interest? Is it usually on settlement?
When handover happens, so when you move into your new home, exciting times, and the lender will switch that over for you, and you start paying down your mortgage.
Your
Fun.
brand new home, yeah. Vasu, what stages of the build do you actually have to pay these progress payments?
So the first progress payment goes down once your slab is poured.
Your slab, what's a slab?
Now, the slab of the house is basically the foundation of the house.
The bottom, okay.
The bottom of the house. So you put your frames and everything after that. So your first repayment will be after the slab is poured. And after that, subsequently, the stages will be frame, where you put the frame of the house. And then you've got a lock-up stage, which is basically, fixing all your windows and having all your plumbing in and your electricals in, which will then progress into your fit-off stage, where we'll basically be making sure that all your fittings and fixtures are in the house. And once that's done, that's when you go into your final stage. And that's when the customers will do their final inspection. And once they are happy with everything, that's when they make the final payment of the house and the handover is done.
And then how do I actually pay them?
Once your mortgage has already started with the bank after your land settlement, we will actually give you an invoice, and you just pass that on to the bank, and the bank will automatically disburse the money to you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might just jump in there that when you do receive your invoice, it's a great opportunity to go down and look at the progress of the construction of your home, and then you'll actually need to authorise that invoice for your lender.
And then after it's the frames, then what's the next stage? How long does that take?
Lockups and fixing is the one that takes major time, and if I'm not wrong, I think I would say the invoice at the time is also pretty much the maximum at like 35% or so.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the big one, because that's where most of your house is coming together. So the plaster of the house, the doors, the windows.
Internals, yeah.
So all the internals are coming together in that. So that's the one that takes a while. And like all great things, this should take time as well. So that, because at Home Buyers, we pretty much do things, once and we do it well.
I love that. Let's jump in and talk a bit about pre-approval. What exactly is it and how do we get it, Jazz?
Sure. So pre-approval is a conditional approval provided by the lender directly. Essentially, the idea is that they are pre-approving the idea of you buying or building a home. So what that process looks like is the broker or the client themselves directly to the bank can provide all of their financial details like income, debts, basically everything. And the bank comes back and just, double checks everything looks great and says, yep, I think you can go ahead and go house hunting.
John, how long does pre-approval usually last?
Pre-approval from a lender's for 90 days. But with construction, there will be a delay. So you might have to refresh that pre-approval or let it lapse, and might be 12 months away before that land titles where you go into your actual finance application. There is also another option too, which a broker can provide, and it's a comfort letter or letter of eligibility. And this is something that Vasu, working with the developers, might ask for as well. And this is where the brokers have done an assessment on the customer or our clients and what they're eligible for finance for. So it's not a pre-approval, but it's giving them an idea of their budget and their circumstances at that time, and the developer will be happy to move forward and take a deposit on the block of land based on that, because we've verified income and savings.
Vasu, how important is this letter of comfort or a pre-approval, and do you have a preference when customers come in?
It is actually quite important in our process because with Home Buyer Center, we pretty much work with a lot of first home buyer customers. And I think a letter of eligibility or a pre-approval letter is very important because it kind of helps cut down the time between customer figuring out what they can afford and between what they want to buy. So it's very important for them to have it. And as a part of our standard process as well, we are a company, we are one of those very few companies who've got a very low cancellation rate. And we want to make sure that we kind of keep that going. And for that, we will only work with customers once they have, their finance ready. And if they haven't engaged with anybody, if they don't have a bank that they're working with or a broker, our choice is always Resolve Finance. And that's where, John and Jazz come into picture. So they are our first point of contact. We'll make sure that the customer is comfortable enough to speak to a Resolve broker. And from there, both of them, they'll do their magic. They'll do their preliminary assessment of what their finances look like. And they'll set a budget for the client accordingly. Based on the numbers that they provide to the customers can then decide upon what sort of a house and land package or what sort of a build they are wanting to go with. So it's very important for us.
One of the big mistakes a first home buyer can make is putting a deposit on land first, and they can walk into a beautiful display home at a builder's and they get taken away by all the beauty of the display home and want to buy it. They might put a deposit down then on their build contract, and then they go and look for finance and they can't get enough finance. So that's when that can cause problems and they're in danger. They might lose their deposit, and that's the last thing anybody wants.
Yeah. Is it the cancellation rate you were alluding to just then when people lose their deposits?
Yes. That's correct. Yeah. And because we don't want that to happen, we make sure that we follow the whole part of finance, land, home in that, I would say, sequence.
Yeah.
I think the reason the cancellation rate is also so low is because if a client does come to either of us and say, it's not working, I don't think I can continue, we don't just turn around and say, okay, perfect, we're keeping your deposit. We actually try and find solutions.
Yeah, I love this. It seems like there's lots of flexible options, which is great, and lots of things that you can pull and moves you can make. So it's amazing. This information does not consider your personal needs and financial circumstances, and you should consider whether it is appropriate for you. Lender terms and conditions apply and may vary. All financial services provided by Resolve Financial Solutions Pty Ltd, trading as Resolve Finance, ABN 65079545 378, Australian Credit Licence Number 385487.